It's time for the perk tester. It's time for the perk tester. It's time for the perk tester. All right. Let me stop being silly. What's going on, everyone? Courtney Rollins with the Life and Transitions Experts podcast here on YouTube as well as live on the Facebook group. And perhaps you're watching this later on. Maybe you're listening to this on the podcast, or maybe you're watching this at a different venue. But regardless, I hope this is helpful to you. This is quite often when I'm sharing material, it's because it's something I've come across, or a client of mine I've come across, or a question that someone may have, and I try to explore and find as many answers as I can. And here's one right here. So today we're going to talk about perk testing and percolation testers for land, specifically in North Carolina. I keep coming across a lot of land deals. Shout out to Brent Bowers and all the folks over at the Rhino Tribe and Wholesaling Inc. He does a great job encouraging folks to consider land as an option for investing or wholesaling. And when I'm coming across folks who are working in estates, whether they're going through a probate process or trying to avoid probate, uh, one of the things that I've come across is land, and some folks want different options as far as how can they develop it if they've aired it out, or if it's inherited to them, or if they want to sell it at a discounted price, or for speed and convenience. Now I'm with it, and I'll share that with an investor. And quite often, investors ask, "Is it perk? Is it perk? Is it perk?" So we're going to talk about percolation tests. In fact, I came across some interesting information. Perk testing may be something that's going out the door for North Carolina. So today we're going to look at some of the pros and cons of perk testing, and we're going to start with what is a perk test. All right. So again, a perk test, when you are looking to see if a property is suitable for usually building a home or putting a mobile home or something on there, you have to check the see how it can absorb wastewater, regardless of what type of septic system you use. You have to. That's the way they find out, will this absorb the wastewater properly and not cause potential harm or damage to the people around and to the water source. So it's very important to be able to do a perk test, or to be able to at least know that information. However, North Carolina's relied on this for a long time, but they're starting to move more towards more soil treatment testing, which is a little different, and that's what we're going to delve into today. So, some of the pros of leaving the perk test are, well, one is the environmental consideration. Perk tests are based on a lot of assumptions about the soil condition, and they sometimes can lead to false results. So having different alternative options, such as the soil suitability, can provide a more friendly and economic, well, hopefully economic, but definitely environmentally friendly approach to evaluating the soil, and hopefully give someone a clearer picture of, is this soil suitable for sewage treatment, and potentially for building on. Another thing is, now we've advanced in technology, so we have innovative ways to assess soil, and taking advantage of those, either through digital imaging or soil, here goes a big word, receptivity tests can provide a clearer picture, so you can have more consistent results and make a better decision in the zoning office and in your own investment space. Also, another pro of possibly leaving the perk test behind is the cost, time, and efficiency. Right now, I have a potential buyer who is asking for a longer inspection period, which I can empathize with, because to be able to perk the property, mm, is like 3 months out, is where most of the folks, out of 12 of the agencies called, I've had about 8 or 9 respond, and all of them are booked out until 3 months in advance. So it can take time. So if you have other alternatives, newer methods can actually hopefully reduce the time. And when you're dealing with property, reducing the time can quite often mean reducing the cost. There's holding costs and things of that nature. So it's awesome if we'll be able to do that process and take advantage of other processes that will help us be a little more efficient. Now, of course, there may be some cons to abandoning the perk test, and here's three that for us to consider. One is familiarity with an established standard. So when you have something that's going on for decades, professionals in the industry have a shared language. To be able to look at a perk test and be able to know the language on there is can be effective and can be efficient. And when you're bringing in new information, it takes a little bit of time for that method to be established and for proper training to get there, so that everyone has a more smooth transition, specifically the engineers and the contractors and regulators. So, the right hand knowing what the left hand doing, if you look at the entire industry as a body, can be a challenge. So, familiarity and established standards is definitely a pro for keeping the pro test and a perk test. It's time for the perk test. Let me stop, and maybe a con for leaving the perk test behind. Another thing is that people are resistant to change sometimes. Change can be scary, even though change is the one constant in life. It still can be a challenge. It can be scary. We are designed to designed for both, right? We're designed for to know, be familiar, and be safe, but we're also designed to grow and to change. It's interesting how we're on both ends of the spectrum, but especially at the large scale, that resistance to change can be definitely apparent and definitely there, especially when someone's investing their time and energy into a space. And another third con to leaving the perk test behind is the regulatory and legal considerations. When we're implementing new soil assessments, the approach may need to take into consideration some of the uh, regulatory frameworks that are already there. And has North Carolina up to date with the technology that's up to date and up to date with the alternative methods to help it comply with existing regulation may be a challenge. So the idea of North Carolina no longer using the perk test to determine the suitability of the soil can have some opportunities, of course, and it can have some challenges. And definitely, if you are a land investor or you are a wholesaler that participate in, that deals in land, definitely encourage you to learn as much as you can in the area that you're in, so that you can share that knowledge with your sellers and your end buyers, or with yourself if you are the investor. If you want any support along your real estate journey, do REI deals. You can go to do REI deals. Actually, if you're looking for off-market deals specifically in North Carolina, take a look at the do REI deals site. Maybe there's some properties up there or contracts that you may be interested in um, having the rights assigned to you. If you have property or things that you're looking to for different options for, whether it's us buying it or helping you set it up to get whatever is best for you, feel free to reach out. Of course, if you need support with estates or anything of that nature, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a legal advisor or a financial advisor. Just sharing my opinions, but I do support people, help them navigate the process. And so feel free to reach out. We'll sit down for a free call, free consultation. I'm not selling anything, any courses, even though people keep asking me to, do you have a course? Do you have this there? So maybe something I go into to provide more support. But regardless, wanted to put this out here because it was something that was kept coming up for me, and so hopefully it'll be helpful to you. So, folks in the life in transitions experts world, hope you let your light shine. Cheers.